Have you tasted any of the local food?
Well, I just got in last night, so like I haven't really had time
So you haven't had a chance?
Yeah,
Should
but I mean,
tell you
I
what
love
you
I
have?
love African food. I'm very conservative with food, so I love African food. So I mean, it's never going to be a
You
problem for
should
me.
try a thing they call Rolex.
Rolex,
Yeah, like the watch.
it's an actual food.
Yeah.
It is actual food.
It's not my first time in the east of Africa or African, but
Yeah.
my first time here, and it's been a long time coming. Like she rightly said, Uganda has been showing me love ever since I broke out. I know, and it's only right. I'm really excited to finally get the chance to be here and reciprocate that love to the fans. By performing to them the music they've been listening to the past 3-4 years. I'm just looking forward to having fun with the fans.
Yeah, that sounds really good. You definitely have really big fans out here. I just want to put it out there. I coined myself.
Started out as the basic Afrobeat artist. Took me a while to find my sound. I was pretty much doing what pretty much everyone else was doing at the time, and when I found my sound, I knew that I had the chance to like go global, but that was not the focus at the time. I just really wanted people to listen to me, and I focused on making good music. And when you do that and you become successful and people listen, your music spreads, and that's how you go global, that's how you go international. And then there became the need to push not just the sound but the culture out there too. That's why, collaborations like the one with Ed Sheeran were very important and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that was not the main goal. I just really wanted people to listen to me. I like to think I'm an all-round creative because my life doesn't revolve just around music alone. I really love solitude. I read books. I write poetry sometimes when I'm bored. But yeah, I mean, it's music most of the time, to be honest. And that's where I really feel safe. That's where I feel like myself, when I'm making music, when I'm creating. And it's only one thing in the back of my mind when I'm making a song, to be intentional about, what I'm writing about and how I want people to feel when they listen to my music. So I think that kind of really drives my creative process.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not just as an artist, as a person too. I think that's really important. That's what most artists fail to recognize. They only focus on their growth as artists and not as human beings. And I always like to interpolate both when I'm in my zone. Like I said, every album is a different version of me. The first album was that young boyish, young naive boy who was falling in love and liking people and new to the fame and all that stuff. And Apollo, the second album, was more of a man. I decided to be more expressive and tell my own stories because my first album was not my stories per se, they were other people's stories. And then my third album I'm working on is very like, it's out of the box. It's carefree. It's a different mind space. And it just shows that my growth as a person, not just as an artist. I want people to see that. Well, when I started out, I noticed that Afrobeats is usually known for the vibes, percussion. It's very happy music. It's groovy, and like I said, I found myself lost in the old groove. I was doing what everyone else was doing, and I realized that how can I stand out? So I decided to focus more on my lyrics, use a very intentional and deliberate choice of words, and that's what I focus on when I write. Even when I'm writing other genres like R&B and pop, I like to infuse elements of my culture, elements of my roots in it, so you can know that, oh, this is R&B, this is not Afrobeat, but this is an African singing. So that's usually what I hope to achieve when I'm writing.
I heard through the grapevine that you could have been a professor right now, dude. But
Well.
instead, we're talking music and we're talking just making such an impact in Africa.
I think it was in my second year in uni. I was a grade A student, by the way, until I found purpose, like I always say. And when you find purpose, it kind of shifts your focus away from every other thing in your life, and just puts your focus on one thing. And that's literally what happened. And I realized that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So it was easy to make a decision and say, you know what, no more professor, scholar dreams. Let's just focus on this music and do it. And I'm glad I did.
So I noticed the timeline in which you were able to achieve. Has this shocked you? Has this surprised you? Or how are you processing crazy amount of fame? How are you processing that? I mean, how do you know who to keep close, who to keep far away?
And that's never been a problem for me. I don't have many friends. Even before the fame, I've always been, I've always been very reclusive. Always kept to myself. I prefer words to people, so that's never been a problem for me. But you know, fame can still mess you up, even if you are a loner. So I always try to make sure that I protect my energy. Whenever I go out, you know, and see too many people and greet many people and relate and engage with people, I come back home, you know, detox
Yeah.
and do the things I love doing. Do human things. Go for a drive myself, read books,
Oh, you drive
write
yourself?
silly poems.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, things that remind me that I'm human. I always make sure I do them regularly.
I love
That keeps me
that.
grounded.
Yeah.
Eba and
Couple.
and a goosey soup
Ah,
with goat meat.
with goat's
With the
meat.
sweet.
Yeah.
Humble
Maybe a bottle of Guinness to go with it.
That's
Yeah.
a really good one. Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing. Have you tasted any of the local food?
Well, I just got in last night, so like I haven't really had
So
time
you
to.
haven't had a chance?
Yeah,
Should
but I mean,
tell you
I
what
love
you
I
have?
love African food. I'm very conservative with food, so I love African food. So I mean, it's never going to be
You
a problem for
should
me.
try a thing they call Rolex.
Rolex,
Yeah, like the watch.
it's an actual food.
Yeah.
It is actual food.